Welcome, CEOs, co-creators of extraordinary outcomes to Solution Saturdays. My name is Coach B, the CEO. If you're looking to improve the quality of your life personally or professionally, you came to the right place. Today's topic, I've been stuck up and it was mind blowing. Today's topic, I've been stuck up and it was mind blowing. What do I mean when I say I've been stuck up? What vision comes to mind when you hear that someone has been stuck up? What comes to mind when you hear that? Do you see somebody that is in harm's way? Do you see somebody that is in harm's way? What do you envision? What do you see when somebody says, hey, I've been stuck up? I know when I hear that, I see somebody that was in harm's way, either physically, mentally, or emotionally. And many times it's a mind blowing experience. Well, let me tell you what happened. And you might say, Coach B, why do you have a smile on your face? Well, see, I wasn't stuck up by somebody else. I stuck myself up. See, I had spent some time taking things from myself. And you might say, Coach B, what are you talking about? So when I was younger, my parents used to ask me questions like, I would make a comment or a statement, and my parents would say, well, is that a fact? Is that true? Is that a fact? Is that true? And in the moment, I felt like, yeah, it was true. It was a fact. That's what I said happened. So therefore, that's what happened. It was a fact. It was true. Only to discover that it wasn't a fact and it wasn't true. I've had, and we all have had, some situations where we have given meaning to it. And when somebody asks us, hey, what happened? We got a whole story built around what we perceived happened. And as a direct result of that, because we think something or believe something, we tend to react in a certain way about the circumstance or the situation or the scenario, whatever word you want to use. We tend to react in a certain way. So for me, how would I react when I perceived or made an assumption that something negative had happened and I didn't have all the facts? Before I get into that, I want to read a definition to you about assumptions. Let me just pull this up really quick. An assumption, a thing that is accepted as true or as certain to happen without proof. Let me read that again. A thing that is accepted as true or as certain to happen without proof. So I would be in situations with people, and from my estimation, this is what happened, and this is how it happened. This is what happened, and this is how it happened. So in my mind, I was building up a story, and I was thinking that my story was true, and I was believing that my story was true. And then in return, I was acting as though it was true. And a lot of times, what I thought was true, what I believed was true, wasn't true at all. It wasn't true at all. So now I'm walking around with these assumptions because I'm not questioning anything. I just have this buildup in my head and my mind. I'm not questioning anything. I'm not having conversations with anybody. I just have this faulty belief system. I just have this way of being. I just have this way of acting. So I'll give you an example. Let's say, and this is hypothetically speaking, right? Let's say that I went on a job interview and I didn't get the job. Many of us have been there. So I know y'all can relate to this, right? You go on a job interview, you don't get the job, and you conjure up all of these thoughts about why you didn't get the job. And in some cases, some of those thoughts are so left field, it is unbelievable. And in some cases, the thoughts are laughable. Oh, I didn't get the job because they didn't like me. I didn't get the job. I see there's a heart out there. Thank you so much. And by the way, that reminds me, if you want to leave a comment, feel free to leave a comment. There is a way that you can do that on Facebook. If you want to leave a comment, if you're catching me on YouTube, this is where you can find me, Coach B hyphen the CEO. So again, so I don't get the job. So I got a story in my head. They didn't like me, or they did it because of this, they did it because of that, they did it because of that, they did it because of this. So I have this whole story running in my head, right? So for days in and days out, for hours, I'm running with the story, I'm running with the story, I'm running with the story. When in fact, they just chose somebody else for the job. I didn't get it. Simple as that. I just didn't get it. So the opposite of assuming things is what? One is acceptance, right? The other two is if I make it an assumption about other people or situations or scenario or circumstances, maybe what I could do is just pick up the phone and have a conversation with the individual or, yeah, with the individual and say, hey, this is the way I've been feeling. This is what I've been thinking. Can you give me some feedback on X, Y, and Z? Now, they may or they may not. My part is to do my part, clear up my side of the street. And I might find that it's not true. So let me, and I gave you a hypothetical situation. Let me give you a real life situation. So some time ago, and it's work related. Some time ago, I thought that I wasn't in the running for something, only to find out that there were external circumstances to what was happening in the agency and why certain things didn't get done. So, in other words, I thought that I was going to be able to do a job, but the agency had lost funding. And I didn't get the job because the agency had lost funding. But my mind had told me, oh, they just didn't want to do this. They didn't want to do that. They didn't want to do this. They didn't want to do that. When I got up the courage, when I got up the courage just to ask them, hey, what happened? I thought, we were on par, we were on course to do X, Y, and Z. They said, yeah, well, we were waiting to see what would happen. And we didn't want to say anything right away because we weren't certain. We didn't have all the answers right then and there. So we wanted to wait and kind of play it out. And yeah, we discovered and we learned that X, Y, and Z happened. I was like, oh, okay, thank you. Thank you. What that did was give me some relief. It took courage on my part to do what? To ask the question. Hey, what's happening? There's been some delays. I'm kind of curious to know what's going on. Are we still going to move ahead? And then the response came back, no, we're not going to move ahead. But the story that I made up in my mind, the assumption that I made up in my mind, hours, days of being frustrated for no reason whatsoever. Hours and days of being frustrated for no reason whatsoever. Only because I had made an assumption about something. So, how did I stick myself up? I lost time, I lost energy, right? And when I say lost time, meaning I'm so busy thinking about the negative that I wasn't focusing on the positive. I wasn't utilizing my energy to do something else until I had an absolute answer to what was going on. So I just gave you a real life situation. Now you can take the principles of what I'm saying and apply it to any area of your life and discover for yourself in what area of your life are you sticking yourself up? Are you sticking yourself up and only to find out that it's mind blowing and that what? That maybe you're making assumptions about things that are not true. You're taking away time and energy from something that you can be doing that's more productive than making up stories in your head about something that you really don't have the answer to. So let me go back and read this definition of assumptions once again. Give me 1 second. Let me just read this to you one more time. I think I still have it up. Did I? Okay. Give me 1 second. I think I closed it out. Yeah. So let's read this again. A thing that is accepted as true or as certain to happen without proof. I'll read it one more time. A thing that is accepted as true or as certain to happen without proof. I had no proof of what was going on the other side of that situation. I didn't know. So I was making an assumption. I was robbing myself of time and energy, and I lost focus because while I'm so busy making up the story about X, Y, and Z, I'm losing focus on other things that I could do. I stuck myself up. So my question for you today is, in what area of your life are you sticking yourself up? What area of your life are you sticking yourself up because you think and believe something is true that's not true? It could be in your personal relationships, it could be in relationships with colleagues, it could be with just people in general, with your neighbors, people in your community. In what area are you making assumptions that something is true, that something is certain to happen without having the correct information? That's the coaching question. That is the coaching question. What assumptions are you making in your life that are robbing you, that are sticking you up? When you look and you find those areas, then take a second step and take a look at what? How are you behaving? How are you treating those people? And how might you be treating yourself because you think and believe that something is true? In other words, who are you being because you think and believe something is true that's not true? And how is that impacting your relationships with people that you are having those scenarios with, those situations or circumstances with? How is it impacting those relationships? So, and this thing, that we call life coaching, one of the most important things in the coaching is that we get accurate, that we really get accurate with who we're being, how we're showing up in the world, because it impacts the quality of our life. Now, this sounds simple, and for some people, they rather look at what other people are doing opposed to looking at themselves. So, again, this is about personal growth. This is about improving the quality of your life. Again, whether it's personal or professional, and I'm a true believer that you take you everywhere you go. So if you act that way in one situation in your life, chances are that you're acting that way in other areas of your life. And it's having the same effect, that is impacting your well being, and it's impacting the way that you interact with other people. When I was younger, like I said, my parents, they would always ask, "Is that a fact?" And I thought they were being sarcastic, to be honest with you. I thought they were being sarcastic. What do you mean if that's a fact? If I said it, then it's a fact. If I believe it, it's a fact. And I never challenged when I was younger. Now, as I'm older, but I never challenged my thinking. I never challenged my belief system. So, this is an opportunity here for us to take a look at our thinking and our belief system and the way that we show up in the world. So, to you, my challenge for you is this: take a moment, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever amount of time you have. Take a moment, sit back, and ask yourself, in what areas am I making assumptions in? And when you identify the areas that you're making those assumptions in, because you think or believe something, then ask yourself, who are you being when you make those assumptions? And then take a look at the impact that it's having on you and the relationships that you're in. This has been Saturday Solutions with Coach B. And by the way, you can like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. And if you would like to get in touch with me, look in the description. There's a link there where you can actually get a 1 hour free coaching. This a free. I'm getting all tongue tied because I got excited about it. But there's a link in the chat if you would like a free 1 hour coaching discovery call. You can hit that link, schedule an appointment, and we can get on the phone and we could talk about what's going on in your life. Thank you. This has been Coach B. See you next Saturday. Have a great weekend.